The crystal wine glasses clinked as my sister Isabella raised another toast at our parents' annual Christmas party. The same party where, for the past 5 years, I'd endured endless questions about my unfortunate career choices. To success, Isabella beamed, her designer dress catching the light. And to Thompson and Ward's newest junior partner. Our mother dabbed at her eyes with an embroidered handkerchief. 2 lawyers in the family now. Your father and Isabella, both making the Martinez name proud. I sipped my wine quietly, thinking about the documents sitting on my desk at home. Documents that would change everything about the Martinez name, though they didn't know it yet. And what about you, Carmen? Aunt Rosa's voice dripped with false concern. Still answering phones at that office downtown? I thought about my real role at that office, CEO of Martinez Enterprises, one of the fastest-growing commercial real estate companies in the country. The company that had secretly been buying up properties all over the city, including the building where Thompson and Ward currently leased their prestigious offices. Still there, I said simply. Isabella laughed, the sound sharp and dismissive. Can you believe it? Yale Law was practically begging her to attend, and instead she's just a secretary. Answering phones and getting coffee. If they only knew that while they thought I was fetching coffee, I was orchestrating billion-dollar real estate deals. That their precious law firm's future literally rested in my hands. Someone has to do those jobs, my father said with a heavy sigh. Though I must admit, Carmen, I expected more from you. As if building a real estate empire from scratch wasn't enough. As if transforming a small inheritance from my grandmother into a corporation worth billions was somehow less impressive than Isabella's law degree. I'm comfortable where I am, I said. Comfortable? Isabella snorted. You live in that tiny apartment, drive a used car while I'm making partner at 32. That's not comfort, that's settling. My tiny apartment was actually the penthouse of one of my buildings, though they never visited to find out. The used car was a deliberately modest choice, because real power doesn't need to show off. Not everyone can be as successful as your sister, my mother sighed. At least you have steady work. My phone buzzed quietly, a message from my actual executive assistant. Construction on the new tower complete. Signs going up tomorrow. Thompson and Ward's lease renewal on your desk for review. Speaking of success, Isabella straightened her shoulders. Thompson and Ward is expanding. Taking over 3 more floors in our building. Prime real estate, perfect location. I hid my smile behind my wine glass. They had no idea that their perfect location would soon be renamed Martinez Tower. That their lease renewal would come with some very interesting changes. Impressive, I murmured. You wouldn't understand the complexities. Isabella waved her hand dismissively. Real estate, corporate law, it's all very sophisticated. Not like answering phones. My father nodded sagely. The Martinez name means something in legal circles now. Your sister and I have built quite a reputation. The Martinez name. If only they knew what I'd really done with it while they were busy congratulating themselves at country club dinners. Tell them about the corner office, Bella, my mother urged. With the view of the city. It's spectacular, Isabella preened. You can see all the important buildings from up there. Not that you'd know about corner offices, Carmen. I thought about my real office, the entire top floor of the Martinez building downtown. Floor-to-ceiling windows with views that made Isabella's corner look like a storage closet. Maybe someday, I said quietly. Oh honey, my mother reached over to pat my hand. You shouldn't think that way. Some people just aren't meant for big success. There's no shame in honest work. My phone buzzed again. Final permits approved. Signage installation begins at dawn. Press release ready for your review. Actually, I set down my wine glass. I should get going. Early morning tomorrow. Of course, Isabella smirked. Those phones won't answer themselves. I gathered my things, listening to their laughter follow me to the door. Let them laugh. Let them think I spent my days making coffee and taking messages. Tomorrow everything would change. Carmen, my father called after me. You know, it's not too late. Isabella could put in a word at the firm. Maybe something in the mail room. I turned back, taking in their faces one last time, my father's condescending concern, my mother's poorly hidden disappointment, Isabella's smug superiority. Thanks, I said softly, but I think I'll stick with my current position. Position. Isabella laughed. You're a secretary, Carmen. Let's not pretend it's something grander than that. I walked out into the cool night air, sliding into the back of my waiting car. Not the used Honda they thought I drove, but a sleek Mercedes with a private driver. Home, Ms. Martinez? George asked, meeting my eyes in the rearview mirror. The office first, I said. I want to see the signs before they go up. Downtown was quiet at this hour, but crews were already preparing for tomorrow's unveiling. The massive Martinez Tower letters waited under wraps, ready to transform one of the city's most prestigious buildings. In my real office, I reviewed the lease renewal terms one last time. Thompson & Ward's rent would triple under the new ownership. Their precious corner offices would be reassigned to make room for Martinez Enterprises' expansion. My phone lit up with family messages. Mom, darling, please consider what your father said. Isabella, the mail room really would be a step up for you. Dad, the Martinez name deserves better. I set the phone aside, turning to the wall of windows. The city spread out before me, dotted with buildings I owned, properties I'd acquired while they thought I was answering phones. Sometimes success doesn't need to announce itself. Sometimes it grows quietly, hidden behind assumptions and dismissals, building something far greater than anyone suspects. Tomorrow they'd learn that lesson the hard way. The morning sun caught the still-covered letters on the building's facade as I arrived at 6 a.m. In less than an hour, Thompson & Ward's prestigious address would become Martinez Tower, though not the Martinez they were expecting. Everything's ready, Ms. Martinez, my executive assistant Sophia reported, handing me a tablet with the day's schedule. The press is gathering. Your family's law firm opens at 8. I smiled, thinking of Isabella's corner office. And the lease documents? Delivered to every tenant last night. Thompson & Ward's managing partners are already calling, demanding to speak with the building's new owner. Perfect. Let them sweat a little longer. I took the private elevator to my real office, the entirety of the 50th floor, not the reception desk where my family thought I worked. The view was spectacular, the city spreading out before me like a chessboard where I'd been quietly moving pieces for years. At 7:30 my phone buzzed. Isabella. Carmen. She sounded frantic. Where are you? Something's happening at the building. There are news crews everywhere. Really? I kept my voice casual. Sounds exciting. They're about to uncover some new sign. The whole firm is watching from the windows. Even Dad came in early to see what's going on. I'll be there soon, I said, ending the call. At 7:45 I stepped into my private bathroom to change. The simple dress I wore to family functions was replaced by a tailored Chanel suit. Professional. Powerful. Nothing like what they'd expect a secretary to wear. They're ready, Sophia announced at 7:55. I took one last look in the mirror, thinking of every dismissive comment, every condescending smile, every lecture about the Martinez name. So am I. The crowd outside had grown larger than expected. Press, business leaders and curious onlookers gathered to see the revelation of the city's newest corporate headquarters. Through the tinted windows of the 48th floor, I could see Thompson & Ward's employees pressed against the glass. At exactly 8 a.m. the covers fell away. Martinez Tower gleamed in massive golden letters against the morning sun. My phone exploded with messages. Isabella. Martinez? What's happening? Dad, who owns this building? Mom, call us immediately. Instead of responding, I stepped out of my private elevator onto Thompson & Ward's floor. The office was in chaos. Lawyers huddled in groups, whispered conversations stopped as I walked past. Isabella stood at her precious corner window, clutching a piece of paper, the new lease terms, I assumed. Carmen. He spun around. What are you wearing? Good morning, Isabella. I smiled, enjoying her confusion. Problem with the view? Did you know about this? She thrust the lease document at me. Some company called Martinez Enterprises bought the building. They're tripling our rent. Taking our corner offices. I know. How could you possibly? He stopped, finally taking in my appearance. The suit. The confidence. The way every employee on the floor was suddenly standing at attention. Ms. Martinez, Sophia appeared at my side. The press is waiting for your statement. Isabella's face went white. Martinez. Perhaps we should step into the conference room, I suggested. I believe the managing partners are waiting. The conference room fell silent as I entered. My father sat at the head of the table, his usual power position. Not today. Carmen. He stood up, confusion etched on his face. What is this? This, I took my place at the head of the table, making him step aside, is a meeting between Martinez Enterprises CEO and her new tenants. The silence that followed was deafening. Managing partners stared. Isabella's mouth opened and closed without sound. My father gripped the back of his chair for support. You. Isabella finally managed. But you're just a secretary. No, I smiled. I'm the owner of this building. And 15 others across the city. Martinez Enterprises isn't named after our family's law firm. It's named after its founder. Me. Impossible, my father whispered. You answer phones. Get coffee. Actually, I pulled up the company overview on the conference room screens. I run a billion-dollar real estate empire. One that's been systematically acquiring properties throughout the city while you were all busy underestimating me. The screens filled with data, my company's holdings, our market value, our growth projections. Numbers that made Thompson & Ward look like a small family practice in comparison. But, your apartment, Isabella stammered. Your car. Are exactly what I wanted you to see. I leaned back, enjoying their shock. The apartment you mocked is the penthouse of my first building acquisition. The used car is just for family dinners. I prefer my driver. Why? My father found his voice. Why the deception? Would you have believed me if I'd told you? When I tried to discuss real estate investments, you said I didn't understand real business. When I saw opportunities in commercial properties, you told me to be grateful for my steady job. Sophia appeared with more documents, the new lease terms for Thompson & Ward. These need to be signed today. Before the press conference. Press conference? Isabella's voice cracked. Announcing Martinez Enterprises corporate headquarters. Your corner office has a lovely view of the sign. My father sank into his chair. The Martinez name means something different now, I finished. Not because of your law firm, but because I built something bigger than you could imagine. While you were celebrating Isabella's junior partnership, I was buying the building out from under you. And now? Isabella asked quietly. Now you have choices. Sign the new lease at market rates. Adapt to the new office arrangements. Accept that your little sister owns your building. Or find new space. Though I should mention, I smiled, I own most of the premium commercial real estate in the city. The next hour passed in a blur of signatures and stunned silence. Managing partners quietly accepted the inevitable. Isabella sat in her soon-to-be relocated corner office, staring at the golden Martinez Tower letters that now dominated her view. My father approached as the last papers were signed. We underestimated you, he said quietly. Terribly. Yes, I stood gathering my things. You did. You were so busy looking down at the secretary that you never saw the seal. Why didn't you tell us? He asked. All these years. Would it have mattered? When I chose my own path instead of law school, you said I was wasting my potential. When I worked my way up from nothing, you called it settling. So I stopped telling and started building. The press conference was scheduled for noon. I stood at the podium, cameras flashing, announcing Martinez Enterprises' arrival as a major force in commercial real estate. From the 48th floor I could see my family watching, finally understanding who I really was. That evening I sat in my true office, looking out over the city I was quietly transforming. The Martinez name glowed on buildings across the skyline, but not for the reasons they'd always assumed. My phone lit up with messages. Mom, we had no idea. All this time. Isabella, can we talk? Please. Dad, you proved us all wrong. I smiled, turning to the wall of windows. Success isn't always about law degrees and corner offices. Sometimes it grows quietly behind dismissed titles and underestimated positions. Sometimes it builds in the very spaces others mock until it becomes too big to ignore. The next family dinner was different. No more jokes about answering phones. No more lectures about wasted potential. Instead, they asked questions, finally ready to understand that success doesn't always wear a law degree or carry a prestigious title. Isabella adapted to her new, smaller office, humbled but learning. My father stopped talking about the Martinez name in legal circles, finally proud of what it meant in the broader business world. My mother stopped worrying about my steady job, and started bragging about her daughter, the real estate mogul. Me. I keep building, keep growing, keep transforming the city's skyline. Sometimes from my office, sometimes from behind a reception desk. Because real power isn't about where people think you work, it's about what you create while they're not looking. The Martinez name means something different now. Not because of a family law firm, but because one underestimated daughter built an empire while everyone else was busy laughing at the secretary. One building at a time.